Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Serving Scandalous Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Welcome.
How y'all feeling today? Are y'all ready for me to stress you out?
Stressing me out.
Already? I ain't even got started yet.
I just know these stories is crazy.
You got some PTSD?
Oh, yeah. Everything.
Well, we're 8 episodes in, so we are rocking and rolling.
Oh, yeah.
So you should know by now what to expect. Nothing but scandalousness and troublesome thoughts.
Oh, yeah. These Reddit stories, I mean, it's crazy how many people go through what they go through.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes you appreciate your life and see how things can really be bad for others. So be grateful for what you have.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, today will be no different. I'm going to stress you out with 4 new crazy Reddit stories. So without any further ado, you want to get started?
Oh, yeah.
Before we hop into story number 1, shout out to those who joined our Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
We're having a wonderful time over there, aren't we?
Yep, we are.
And we're looking forward to expanding that family and bringing more of you guys in. So join the party.
Oh, yeah. More content.
You get extra stories. You get other personal content of just day in the life of me and James, whatever we have going on. We go live.
Oh, yeah.
We have a community chat. So if you're not over there, you're missing the party, honey.
Definitely missing out.
But for now, you're here for the crazy stories of the day.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't we just jump right on into it?
Let's get to it.
Story number 1. My boyfriend's dad keeps hitting on me. Gross.
What the heck?
Well, yep. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, let's see.
I, 26 female, feel disturbed by this because I want to tell my boyfriend, but I don't know if I should. I was home with his dad, 68 male, all day while my boyfriend was at work because his dad asked if I would help him with running some errands. Side note, his mom passed away like a month ago, and he's been trying to organize and figure out home stuff. And me being nice and trying to show that I'm a good future wife for his son, I said yes. I'm going to just say that's a little weird.
Oh, yeah.
If your dad asked me to go run errands with him, I would think that's weird.
Yeah, but I guess she was trying to show him that, hey, I'm a good wife, I guess.
But it's not more so about her agreeing. It's more so of him asking.
True.
I would think maybe I get that his mom's passed away, but I think it would be more normal for your mom or your sister to hit me up and be like, hey, let's go. But your dad to be like, come run errands with me? I'm just saying.
No, you're right. You're right about that.
There were signs.
Right, yeah.
But then his dad starts saying I remind him of his wife.
What?
Which is cool because I guess that's a good thing. But then he also says I remind him of her physically and proceeds to ask if I would shower with him and keep it between us.
Oh, what?
Straight like that. Just
Shower.
bowling out cold. Get in the shower with me. Get in the shower with me. I just kind of laughed it off awkwardly and said no because I honestly felt so uncomfortable in the moment. I could only imagine. I didn't know what to say. I thought he was joking, but he was serious. Baby, this is not a joke. When somebody tells a joke, everybody's laughing.
Right.
I kind of feel like I want to tell my boyfriend, but I don't want to start any problems. What should I do?
Run from everything. That's crazy.
Run, don't walk.
Right.
I could understand that she is in a very tough situation because who wants to say something like that to their boyfriend? Your dad asked me to shower with him. Like, she doesn't want to be put in a position to have to tell that to her boyfriend. She don't know how her boyfriend might react. She don't know if the boyfriend's going to believe her. She don't know how this might change their relationship. But I don't know how you don't tell him.
You have to tell him. You got to be like, hey, I got to stay away from your dad. She gonna be like, why? Because your dad's creepy. For real. You can keep it like that. Or you got to probably tell him what's really going on.
You make it sound like he would just be so receptive to that. But think about it. Obviously, your dad's not a creep. But let me just say, like, when we were dating, if I would have knew you and been like, I don't know if I could come to Thanksgiving. Your dad's a creep. I don't think you would have just taken that, well,
maybe you got to tell him what happened if you're going to stay in that relationship.
This is just so tricky. Could you imagine somebody saying your dad asked to shower with me?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
And unfortunate. Because if she doesn't say anything, he's going to constantly continue to bring dad around her. Dad's going to constantly do inappropriate things. And if she tells him, there's a big chance that could ruin her relationship. He might not even think it's the truth.
But that's on him. Because if she don't tell him, then she got to be different and act different. And then she going to look like the weird one. Because she keeping that secret. That's a no.
Would y'all tell? Let us know.
What would y'all do?
Or maybe, I know probably a lot of women are going to feel like, I'm going to let it slide this time. And I'm going to see if he continues. That happens to a lot of women. There's a lot of times where there's inappropriate sexual innuendos. And this is not an innuendo, but just saying, like, there's a lot of times where things are done or said inappropriately to women. And we don't say anything about it the first time. So I would not be shocked if she didn't say anything about it this time and was just hoping that, he was just tripping that day. So I wouldn't even be shocked if she doesn't say anything the first time around.
I wouldn't be shocked either. But I mean, I would say, yeah, maybe, you could have held, even though you probably shouldn't have held any of that in or any of that from your boyfriend. But I feel like if you're going to hold something in, maybe that first comment talking about, oh, you remind me of my ex-wife physically, fine. But once you got to the shower part, I think that's when you was like, that should be like a no. Like, I'm going to tell my boyfriend and see what's going on.
And then maybe too, just suggestion, when her boyfriend asks her like, oh, how was your day? Since he's probably going to just casually ask her, oh, how was, I just getting home from work. She said she was there all day with the dad, which is also weird. Why are you, does the boyfriend live with the dad? Like, why are you at his dad's house all day while he's at work? But nonetheless, so when he gets home from work, and it's like, oh, hey, how was y'all day? What y'all did? He's probably going to just casually ask you about your day. Maybe you just casually mention how your day was instead of like making it like we need to talk, because that immediately puts someone's guard up. So if he just casually asks you about your day, then you casually tell him, well, my day was a little interesting. Oh, well, what happened? Well, I was out with your dad and we did X, Y, and Z, and he asked me to shower with him. Right. I think that kind of takes off the dramatic dun dun dun, and he's not even expecting that. Because if you, like, let's just say if she does it a little bit differently, he comes home, she says, oh, it was fine, and then when they're laying in bed at night, you know how women are, I have something to tell you. And then he gonna be like, what? Like, instantly he's on like guard for like, what's wrong? So if he just casually asks her, well, how was your day? And you just casually respond, well, my day was a little weird. Oh, what happened? Well, I was at Walmart with your dad. Everything was fine until we got in the car. And he told me that I reminded him of your mom and asked me to shower with him. I was very confused. Well, how was your day?
Yeah. But what if he didn't ask her about her day? All dudes don't ask about your day.
I guess I'm just taking for granted that I have a man that asks me about my day. I just thought that was a normal thing for couples to talk about your day. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe he was having a hard day and he just, wrapped up in his head. He forgot to ask you about your day.
Yeah, I guess that could be the case.
She gonna have to bring it up.
Yeah.
To me. What y'all think, though?
Yeah, that's a tough one. But guess what?
What?
We have an update.
Oh, good.
I told my boyfriend. She told him.
Oh, okay, good.
And his reaction was, this doesn't sound like something my dad would say. Then he proceeds to ask me, is this why you said you didn't want to come over to the house anymore? You think?
Right.
He then said he needs time to think about this and see both sides because he's optimistic. He also says he needs to know the facts. And I said, what facts? I've told you everything that happened, literally. I haven't said or done anything to make your dad feel like it's okay for him to come to me in this manner. I told him I felt disgusted, and all he had to say was he didn't want to jump to conclusions. He didn't even bother to ask me if I was okay. ... Just trash.
Yeah.
And this is why women don't say anything.
I understand, but I'm glad she said something, though. So at least you said something.
Well, I'm glad she said something because now she knows she has a boyfriend that will never protect her against his family. So this is probably the end of the road because now that makes him not marriage material. And not to say everybody wants to be married, but even long-term committed relationship material. Because if you talking about doing life with somebody, at the bare minimum, they should be able to protect you, especially against people who are attached to them. You have no standing to come at his parents. he has to be the person to check that relationship. And if he doesn't protect you in that way, then you are in for a very bumpy, miserable ride. So I think that I'm glad she spoke up. I'm glad she now sees this is just the beginning of what you will deal with if other things come about from his family throughout your relationship. No protection.
Because that's crazy. He asked her to shower with him.
Granted, I would be shocked if anybody said that to me about my dad. I mean, I'm a girl. I've had friends all my life. Friends spent the night, came over. Nobody ever said anything to me about my dad. So if one random day when I'm an adult in a relationship, how old are they again? She's 26. So I would be shocked if somebody randomly in my adult life made a comment about my dad in my mid-20s. I would be shocked.
I understand.
But I would, depending on what was said, I would be like, oh, for real? Really? Then I'm going straight to my mama.
True.
Regardless if I'm concerned or it might not sound like his character, I'm going straight to my mom about it. Because at the end of the day, why is anybody saying anything about your dad?
Right.
You know? Because then we could get down to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So regardless, I would have went straight to my mama. And we would have had to be figuring out what was going on around here.
Yeah, true.
Well, we have a couple comments.
Oh, yeah, what they talking about?
Someone said, just crazy, isn't it? If you marry this boyfriend, his pervy fart of a father will be your father-in-law and the grandfather to your children. Ick for the next 20 years, for sure. Then someone else said, after reading your update, the best advice I can give you is to run. Same thing you said, huh?
Exactly.
Your boyfriend has completely dismissed and invalidated your feelings, which is actually a very concerning situation.
Yes.
The next person said, I mean, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. I hope you get it.
I hope you do too.
All I know, girlfriend, is
Oh, yeah. Red
Run.
flag for sure.
run, and we wish you well.
Oh, yeah.
This is a huge eye-opening. Appreciate, nobody wants to have to deal with, just inappropriate things like that from people you have to be around. But take this as a sign, because not only did you learn a lot about his family, you just learned a lot about him.
Yep.
Don't ignore what you've learned and be grateful that you learned it this early on, because everyone doesn't get that opportunity. And sometimes people don't realize they're married to a monster until they're already married to a monster. So be grateful that you found out as his girlfriend and pack up your things and go. Life is just way too short and you got way too much life to live. You're only 26 to be fooling around with that.
See, and I think she wouldn't have realized that either if she didn't open her mouth and tell him.
Exactly. Yeah. So kudos to you for telling him.
Yep.
But pay attention because he just showed you who he is.
Exactly.
Best of luck to you.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready for story number 2?
Oh, yeah. What you got for me?
Are you sure you're ready?
I just know it's crazy.
It is.
So. But yeah, let me know what's going on.
Am I the asshole for kicking my wife out after she punched my mom in the face?
What? Oh, dang. Okay.
Now, I want to know, what the hell did your mama do?
Right. What?
Not the wife punching her mother-in-law in the face? Well, your mama did something.
Clearly.
We're going to get down to the bottom of what she did.
What the heck?
My situation went from bad to worse in a matter of a week, and I don't know where else to turn. So you turn to strangers on Reddit? Okay. Sometimes it's good to get opinions from people who don't know and not involved in the situation. I need to know if I was wrong. Possibly a validation thing because life is effing dumb right now. My wife and I have been together for 8 years, and she just gave birth to our first and last baby 2 months ago. Up until my wife got pregnant, my mom loved her. I'm not sure what the F is wrong with my mom or why she switched up, but after my wife got pregnant, my mom started being very clingy to me and started avoiding my wife at all costs. She told anyone who would listen that she was not excited about the pregnancy. I threatened to go no contact when my wife was about 7 months along, and after that, she snapped out of it for the most part and stopped saying ignorant comments. Her comments actually 100% stopped, but she was still very clingy to me. Now, a week ago, my mom, my sister's husband, and my sister's daughter, who's 12 years old, came over for dinner. So it's a little family dinner. I'm sure his wife were there, his mom is there, his sister's there with her husband and her child.
Okay.
I prepared the meal. Before my wife could eat anything, our daughter got fussy. So my wife excused herself to go feed the baby and put her down to go to sleep. Remember, this is a 2-month-old child. I thought I prepared enough food, but apparently not, because my niece was still starving. She's 12 years old, 5'5", and 190 pounds. I haven't seen her in a year, and she was not that size, so I didn't expect to have to prepare 3 extra portions for a child.
What?
So I guess that's on me. I apologized and told her I hadn't made any more and offered her crackers as I was putting my wife's portion in the fridge. After that, I went outside with my sister's husband to smoke a cigarette and shoot the breeze. Didn't think anything of it, but then I hear yelling from inside. When I walked in, my wife and my mom were screaming at each other. Apparently, my mom, who saw me put my wife's food away, gave it to my niece.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As I was walking inside, I heard my mom say, "Looks like you can afford to skip a meal," and slap my wife's stomach. As soon as I got ready to step in, literally fast walking towards them yelling, "Enough!" my wife winds back and punches my mother square in the face and drops her. The whole house went silent, outside of my mom screaming and crying and holding her bloody face. I tell everyone to get the F out. Immediately, everyone leaves and my wife just turns towards the kitchen counter and leans and has her face in her hands. I look at my wife and say, "You too, leave now." She said, "Really?" She starts crying at this point. I said, "Yep." She packs up her stuff and stuff for the baby and leaves. I text her that night and said I needed some space. I needed to decompress and come to terms with what just happened. She didn't respond. The next 5 days, I'm texting and calling, and I get nothing. She shows up home 8 days later and hands me divorce papers and my baby and says, "Here, you have a bit to hang out with her while I pack." While I'm breastfeeding, we can work out a visitation schedule that's either at your place or my mom's place until she'll take a bottle and then you can just pick her up. I told her that is not what I want. I don't want to separate. I just needed time to process you punching my mom in the face. She said, "You needing time gave me time to process the fact that I refuse to be in this situation any longer." I defended myself. I initially felt bad and remorseful, but you making me leave when I needed you made everything clear. I'm done. I'm sorry for what I did, but there's no fixing this. She refused to speak to me at all the rest of the time she was there. My house feels so empty. I don't know what to do. Am I the asshole for making her leave after she punched my mom in the face? I just needed some effing space.
I don't know about that.
Whoa.
Well, I do know about that. I guess I could say I think he is an asshole for kicking his wife out after punching his mom in the face. I mean, your wife comes before your mom. Why are you kicking her out? I mean, I understand.
We could all agree him kicking his wife out, he wrong his 2 left shoes. However, did the punishment fit the crime? Now, granted, I think the mother-in-law sounds like hell on wheels.
True.
And I'm sure that she's gone through a lot. Now, granted, the mother-in-law did touch her. She looked like she did one of these to her stomach.
Right.
The only way I could see me punching my mother-in-law in the face is 2 situations. My mother-in-law hit me first. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by hit me, not the little tap in the gut. Like she hit me.
Right.
Or she hurt my child.
Yeah, I can see that.
So do I think she deserved to be laid out like that? Maybe not for the little gut tap. Did she deserve to be cussed the hell out from A to Z, kicked out of the house, and for, her to demand that her husband have her not around in their house anymore? Like, she disrespected her in their house. Mm-hmm. So I definitely think she could have easily demanded that she's not allowed in their home anymore.
For sure.
And that probably would cause a lot of issues with her having access to my child at that point. So I think that would have all been warranted and fit the crap. I don't know about cocking back and punching her. But that's not what we're here for.
Right.
We're here for, is he wrong for kicking her out?
Right.
And absolutely. Absolutely.
You think she's wrong? I mean, he's wrong for kicking her out. Yep.
First of all, why? Just think about it. Imagine getting kicked out of your home.
Right.
where you live, where you rest your head. Imagine, like, that was just so disrespectful for her husband to kick her out of their home.
Right.
Now, kicking everybody else out, that was one thing. That's not their home. But to kick his wife out?
Yeah, that's crazy. And she got a newborn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But newborn or not, the newborn just makes it even worse, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But even if they didn't have the newborn,
Right.
I think kicking her out at all. Imagine getting kicked out of your home. Like, it's not like she just walked in the door and he caught her cheating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that might be a reason to be like, get your shit and go.
Right.
But yeah, he's wrong. Wrong. So there's consequences.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody came down on him real hard on Reddit. So he wanted to come back with an update.
What? He going to come back to Reddit with an update.
Right.
After kicking his wife out.
Yes.
Wow. He kicked his wife and his kid out.
And yes, his wife and the baby.
He funny.
So I get you, like, they jumped on him, okay?
I bet.
And he wanted to get these people off his back. So here's what he said. For the record, I am team wife. So convenient.
Right.
My mom deserved it wholeheartedly, and I've blocked her completely from my life. I literally just needed some time to process what happened. My wife is a lot of things, but violent is not one of them. So this came completely out of left field and would have not happened had she not been provoked. After it all happened, my mom sent me a text saying, see, I told you she was crazy. That fat itch doesn't belong in our family. I'm willing to bet she purposely tried setting my wife off. So no, I'm on my wife's side 100%. I just needed time to process what happened. My wife took it as me giving up on her, not defending her and throwing her and our baby out, which I did essentially because I knew she had to take the baby with her. So I guess I did kick them both out.
You did.
For context, my dad was super abusive. Cues the violin.
All right. What? Your dad ain't got nothing to do with your actions.
But you know, deflection.
Right.
So for context, my dad was super abusive. I was beat. My sister and brother were beat. My mom was put in the hospital multiple times. It took years for police to enforce restraining orders, and he finally died in 2013. Not finally died.
He finally died? That's crazy.
Violence scares the F out of me. I clam up and get anxious around violence of any kind. My wife knows this, as she too grew up with violence from a stepdad, and she gets just as anxious and panicky around violence as I do. Her punching my mom in the face triggered an anxious response that I needed her gone in that moment. I needed it far away from me. I don't know why I just didn't leave. I could have, but in the moment, I let my emotions and fear run the whole effing circus, and I told everyone to get out, her included. My mom did slap her first. I guess for some reason, I was seeing my wife's punch as being worse than a slap. It wasn't a hard slap, but my wife did kind of wince, looking back at it now. She was fine after the slap, but my mom was bleeding. She split her eyebrow open. I just don't know. Thanks for all the responses. I am the asshole. I'm going to try to go kiss some ass right now to get my wife back, hopefully.
Yeah, you need to, because that's crazy. Oh my gosh, I feel like that's crazier than his wife's soccer punching the mom-in-law.
What is worse, the kicking out?
Kicking out, yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I do think that the punch was a
little crazy.
It was a little, like I said, I don't picture, a punch. I mean, it sounded like she punched the hell out of her too.
Right.
So I do get that the mom, slapped her in the gut. Now that might have been like if we gonna be physical.
Yeah.
I can understand when the moment that hand flung, I would have grabbed her by the wrist and bent that.
Really? I feel you though.
I think that would be warranted. Catch that slap mid swing and bent her arm back so far she was screaming. I think that might have even been better.
Right.
But the cock back and the punch, you split this lady eyebrow open.
Right.
I do think there's an appropriate time to punch your mother-in-law. I just don't know if this was the appropriate scenario.
It wasn't warranted.
I don't want the punch. Like I said, I do think she could have gotten physical. Like I said, she could have bent that wrist back and had her mother-in-law in a sling for the next 6 weeks. But punching her in the face and splitting her eyebrow open, like I said, You would have to be one of those other two examples that I gave earlier that would make me punch her square in the face. But all in all, your mother-in-law slapping your stomach ain't as worse as your husband kicking you out the house.
Right.
With your 2-month-old baby.
That's crazy.
And good job for you to, I guess she said she's sick of it. Now, to me, of course, I'm not in these people's marriage. None of us are. So we don't know truly, like, obviously this was the straw that broke the camel's back, but we don't know what else caused her to take such an extreme response to this.
Mm-hmm.
As a divorce attorney, I do know that by the time people file, it's usually not because of the last occurrence. The last occurrence was just the straw.
Right.
It's been years of stuff, and this was just the time when they said enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think him kicking her out the house is a divorceable offense. It is an offense to where he needs to win you back. He would have to do something amazing, right? But that just says that there's a lot more that has happened, and this was just the final straw. She's sick of it.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And she done.
I mean, yeah. I just think it's crazy that he kicked her and the baby out. That's crazy. I mean, and I think it would have been, the whole situation is crazy. I was going to say that I think it would have been slightly different if she didn't have a kid, but still, even if she had I think it's all bad.
It is all bad.
I can't even say that. Yeah.
And it looks like he's lost his wife because she came back with divorce papers. Now, granted, I don't know what state they're in, but this is not how you can give someone, this is not considered legal notice of a divorce. We live in Texas your wife coming home with divorce papers isn't it. But if you watch our reality show, Serving Scandalous, then you know how people need to get served in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
But she came there with the papers and was like, here, hold your baby while I pack. That sounds like a woman that's done.
Oh, yeah.
Because if she wasn't done, I think she might have, respond back to his text. Even signs of an argument, signs that people aren't done, right? Because you don't argue with somebody you don't care about no more. The fact that she didn't respond, she showed up at the house with divorce papers, didn't have nothing to say, was like, here, hold your baby while I get my stuff. We could just talk about visitation schedule. The fact that she's not even arguing with him about what happened, that's a woman fed up.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's over. If she was fighting with him, then I would be like, they have a chance.
But she got every right to be, fed up. I mean,
he live with his mama.
He put his mama first, clearly. Yeah, you kicked your mama out, but you just kicked your wife out the house. That's crazy.
He's saying he's on his wife's side. Remember, he wanted to make that clear. He's team wife. He's just saying that he kicked her out because he needed time to process, not because he thought his mom was right.
Nah, that's bull.
He should have addressed his mama right then and there, and that's the issue that I feel like the wife has too. Like, you kicked everybody out, but you didn't confront your mama.
Right.
At all.
You just put everybody on equal grounds.
And how that lady in your house taking food out the refrigerator that your husband put aside for you?
Disrespectful.
I don't even know how people just that comfortable.
Yeah, right.
So this sounds like his mama been running rampant for a long time, and he ain't been putting a stop to it. She been doing stupid stuff for a long time.
Yep.
Let this be a lesson to all of y'all out there who let your moms run rampant.
Right.
You will lose your marriage behind it. I have a whole video on TikTok about how in-laws can ruin your marriage. Sometimes love between the two of you guys is not enough.
Oh, yeah.
And here's Exhibit A.
Yep.
Now let's take a look at some of the comments.
Okay.
Someone said, seriously, you put your wife and an infant child out of their home instead of you leaving to go pull yourself together and stop being a mama's boy? You showed your wife who you truly are, a less than. Not a real husband, not a real father, and not a real man. How was she ever supposed to unsee that? You're the asshole, dude. Ugh.
Yeah, straight like that.
I don't think anyone could have said it better.
And I feel like he probably wouldn't have thought about it any other way unless he went to Reddit and they went ham on him.
Yep.
He probably would have thought he was right.
Yep, because I'm sure your family and friends who have a lot more, thoughts and feelings because they're in their life. Mm-hmm. The people on Reddit don't know what you've been through with your wife or anything like that. They're just looking at the situation, and this is troubling.
It is.
Someone else said, you're the asshole. Where do I begin? First off, your mother harassed your wife for 7 months just for being pregnant before you even took any action. Your wife went to breastfeed your child and your mother stole her food. Your mother of all people should understand how women who are breastfeeding need to keep their milk supply up and need to eat regularly. Instead of apologizing for stealing your wife's food, she slaps her in the stomach and tells her she can afford to skip a meal. When your wife finally stood up for herself because you clearly didn't, you kick her out of the house with her baby, with your baby. If you need space, you should have left. It sounds like you were fine with your wife dealing with your mother and your family's BS, and you couldn't handle that she finally punched your mommy. Dude, you're not getting her back. The best advice is to give your wife whatever she wants in the divorce. You owe her that after everything she's been through. SMH.
Yep. That's crazy. I think that's exactly just like I said before. I mean, I think that's exactly him. He wouldn't have known anything if he didn't go to Reddit. He probably would have been like, well,
She tripping. And what was up with the mama being comfortable enough calling his wife the B word to him? Because remember, she said she called her a fat B in the text messages.
I forgot all about that too.
Why your mama so comfortable to call her a fat B? To you.
Yeah.
To your face.
He ain't getting his family together. He ain't putting his family in order.
That tells me everything. Because even though the mom might feel that she's a fat B, she shouldn't feel comfortable enough to say that to him.
Exactly.
Says a lot, doesn't it?
Yep.
Someone else said, you're the asshole. Your mom is an abusive piece of shit, and your wife reacted after being provoked. You should have shut her down when she first started acting up. You should have set boundaries. You should have protected your wife who literally was growing your child. You kicked your wife and your baby out the home because you need to process. Go take a walk. Go to a different room. Watch a movie. See a friend. Congratulations, you ruined your marriage. This was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Do the decent thing and make separating easy.
Wow. They laying on him thick, huh?
Yeah. One thing I do like is the fact that even though he is the asshole, he got a terrible mama. He obviously hasn't been sticking up for his wife as a husband should. This poor woman has probably been dealing with all kinds of crazy stuff at the hands of his mom once she got pregnant. Because he said everything was all fine until she got pregnant, right? So probably the last year she's been going through hell and he never did anything about it. But one thing that I do like is that he is not giving up. I do like the fact that he said, I'm about to go kiss some ass and try to get my wife back.
True.
Can we give him a little credit?
He get a half point.
A half point?
Yeah, out of 1,000. He get a half point.
I mean, he could have been one of those guys to be like, all right. Some of them don't have fight in them.
True. Yeah, true.
And some of them aren't able to humble themselves enough to go and get your wife back. Because sometimes that's what it requires. A little on your knees, baby, baby, please. And some men are just not the type to even humble themselves enough to go grovel.
Yeah, I guess I'll give him some points for that then. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
he sucked it up and was like, okay, I'm wrong.
Let me go do some begging.
Right. And maybe, hopefully he realized, hey, I need to put my wife first and, my mama is tripping.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're the begging type.
Well, I wouldn't have done that in the first place. I wouldn't have kicked you out, so I don't have to come beg you to come back.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So that's crazy.
That is crazy. And I wish we could know what, if they decided to stay together or not.
Yeah.
This is all we have, folks. It's just Reddit. We don't get the full story. It's just a little snippet of these people's lives.
What you think? You think she came back and for good, or?
The signs?
Yeah.
Say that she's done because of just how the fact that, like I said, she didn't argue with him. She didn't respond to his text messages. She shows up 8 days later like, hey, hold your baby while I pack my stuff.
Right.
But
he came back though. That was before he came back and started begging for her back,
Her actions sound like she's done. And when a woman is done, she's done.
Yeah.
However, I don't know. I think she has a lot of major changes going on in her life right now. Maybe once she leaves and she gets a taste of what it's like to be a single mom, she might miss her family. She might miss her husband. So, sometimes a dose of reality helps both parties. He definitely got a big dose of reality. His wife is gone.
Yeah.
And then maybe she'll get a little bit of a dose of reality of what life is like as a single mom. And then maybe that will bring them back. But they're going to need to do the work to make it successful here on out. So I don't know. It's really hard.
No, I feel you. I completely understand.
Without that baby, I would have said she was gone.
True.
I think the baby might do some things. It does things to people.
Oh,
I have clients reconcile. I'm not going to say all the time because most of them are done by the time they get to me. But there is reconciliation more often than you think.
Oh, no, I understand. I can completely see that.
Yep. People will file for divorce and get all the way to the end after spending all that money. get back together.
Right. They see the bigger picture after that.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly,
Well, it depends on the situation, of course.
right. But honestly, out of all of my clients who did reconcile and cancel the divorces, there were only a few of them that I actually had faith in that they belonged together. Most of them, I was like, "You'll be back." In my head, I was like, "You'll be back," and they all came back.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes there were signs like you were here, for a reason. But yes, there has been a couple times where they got back together, and I was really, really happy about it.
That's good.
Yeah, sometimes you don't be that kind of person, but sometimes people do file to wake their spouse up to be like, this is real. Like sometimes people do go to extreme measures to teach their spouse a lesson. I also don't recommend that because it has backfired on people in the past. So
right.
Don't give ultimatums. I've never recommended. Don't put people in a position to choose, because if you don't get the answer you like and you really didn't mean to do this,
right,
you might have just lost your marriage.
You just threatened me with divorce.
Right.
That's crazy.
Because if you don't got the baby please kind of husband, and
right,
he be like, oh, bet. Then what you gonna do? What you gonna do then?
Right.
So please don't file unless you mean it.
Right. Yeah. Because that ain't the scare we need.
Exactly.
What?
This ain't play when you walk up in my office. This is the real deal.
Right. You better be done.
Be done. But I mean, you can also come just for information.
Oh,
right?
For sure.
But when we start the filing and getting people served, have you seen our show?
Right. You making a move on it.
Right.
You better be serious.
It's very hard to come back from something like that. Well, the next story is even crazier.
Of course.
Of course.
These mother-in-laws.
Well, the next story is a crazy friend.
Crazy friend.
A crazy friend and her crazy request.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah, I think this is just the crazy people episode.
Yeah, I see.
Are you ready for the next story?
Oh, yeah. As ready as I'm going to be.
Okay. This next story's title is, Am I the asshole for continuing to wear makeup and dress in my normal style around my friend who thinks her husband has a crush on me?
Wow. Okay.
Now let's talk about it. Unless you have an opinion already. You want the details?
It's a little weird.
It is.
But I do need some more details because I don't know where this is going.
Well, for context, the friend is 29. The lady who wrote this story, she's 31, and the husband is 35.
Okay.
So she says, my friend has told me that her husband has a crush on me and recently told her that he fantasizes over me.
What?
This already makes me feel very awkward, but now she asks if I can stop wearing makeup and wear baggy clothes around him. We went out to dinner last night at a reasonably expensive restaurant with a few others, 7 of us total, and she texted me when she got home that she was angry at me for looking hot after she asked me not to wear any makeup. She's my friend and I want to do the right thing, but there's nothing I could wear that's baggy that would have been proper attire for this restaurant. We were at Michelin Star. My style is very conservative. I was just wearing a very average dress and heels. It's not the clothes.
Oh, no.
If he into you, he into you. You could have had on a paper bag.
Oh,
It ain't that. I've written out several responses ranging from an apology to being quite rude, but wanted to check my thoughts here before getting back to her. I don't want to make life difficult for her, but what she's asking for seems unreasonable. Am I the asshole? While I was typing this out, he just liked an old Instagram pic from way back. I was in a bikini.
Oh, Lord.
He's now blocked.
Wow. He's tripping.
First of all, men half the time don't care what we have on. So it's not the dress. I mean, it could be maybe if she has
But that's her dude. The dude is hectic.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, men don't care about the dress or the heels. If he likes her, he likes her. So I don't think I feel like even if she showed up in sweatpants and a t-shirt, if he like her, he like her.
Yeah. No.
That outfit change ain't gonna fix a thing.
No, I completely agree.
But let's talk about it. Is the friend's request reasonable?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. I think it's crazy for her to request that. And now her talking to her dude straight up and was like, yo, or leaving him, because that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's not like she's saying that she dresses inappropriately. I wouldn't have a problem with telling nobody not to come to my house dressing inappropriately in front of my man or me or anybody up in here. But she never said like she dresses inappropriately. And she just asked her to not wear makeup and to wear baggy clothes. So it doesn't sound like this woman is being skimpy.
Right.
And also, too, this is not the woman coming into their home in some skimpy outfits. They was out to dinner with 7 other people. I wouldn't care about what anybody wore out in public. Like I said, if you're going to have an opinion, maybe you could tell somebody not to be coming up in your house dressing like, a hoochie. But it don't sound like the lady dressing like a hoochie in her house. It just sounds like the husband think her friend fine. And every time he see her, he don't know what to do.
But he said he fantasizes about her. He told her that. His wife.
You need to be concerned about your husband and why he's so comfortable telling you about that. Because let's just say he had a crush on the friend. He should have kept that to himself.
At least bare minimum.
He could have just fantasized about the friend to his lonesome little self and dreamt about it at night. Yeah. So why did he even tell her that?
That's what I'm saying. He got problems.
To hurt her, probably.
Your husband is the issue.
He probably said it in anger during the fight. What you think?
I don't know. I think he might have just been like, yo, like,
your friend fine.
I fantasize about her.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He ain't got no respect for you. I'm sorry. But you telling your wife that you fantasizing about another woman, that's no, that's a no.
Yeah, but he did. And now she, instead of checking her man, she over here trying to tell her friend not to wear makeup and baggy clothes. Men don't care about none of that. He don't care that she got makeup on. I promise you. Half the time my husband be like, please just hurry up.
Right.
I don't care.
Nah, he just a trifling dude.
Well, people had a lot to say.
I'm sure. And she asking if she's the asshole for telling her friend?
No, she's asking if she's the asshole for not complying with her friend's wishes to dress in baggy clothes and no makeup.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, the only thing I think that would provoke me, like I said, if my friend came over to my house with all her ass out, everything out, spilling all. Because what do you in my house for dressed like that? And nobody's ever done that. I've never had to do that. But that's the only way I think I could check my friend about their appearance. But even if they dressed like that and we were going out, that wouldn't bother me. I would only feel disrespected if you came to my house like that.
No, I can understand that.
But they had dinner.
Right.
And the lady said she just in the average dress and some heels. And even if she was dressed in, like, y'all are in public.
Exactly.
Going places with y'all friends. I don't get it. It's a problem.
Yeah, crazy.
You know how crazy you got to be to tell your wife, yeah, your homegirl? I like her. She gets me riled up.
Exactly.
Well, let's see what the people have to say. Because Reddit is crazy. So anyways, totally not the asshole. For one thing, I don't think it's possible to dress appropriately for a nice restaurant without looking hot to someone who already finds you attractive. And more generally, as long as you're not hitting on the husband or intentionally dressing provocatively to catch his attention, which sounds like you're not, this is a her problem, not a you problem. Here's another point. Why on earth would she tell you that her husband has the hots for you? Completely inappropriate. This is something to be handled within their marriage and not with you. I agree.
Right. It starts with them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Mm-hmm. Why did she tell her? Why did she tell her friend that?
That your husband's looking at me weird?
Like, yeah, like I think my husband has a crush on you. Why did she tell her friend that? Because it's not, she thinks. She knows he told her that he fantasizes about her. Why did she tell her friend?
Why do you think?
I think she did it because she wanted a reason to be mad at her friend and to take it out on her friend versus addressing it with her husband. Like, that was really inappropriate for her to even say that to you. I mean, of course, it's inappropriate for the husband to say it to the wife. But why did the wife even tell her friend that that's how her husband feels? These are some weird people.
Yeah, it's sticky.
Someone else said, not the asshole. If she thinks it's okay to ask a friend to wear baggy clothes to dinner or with a group of other friends, she should feel more than comfortable telling her husband not to look. In fact, with absolute audacity, she should tell him to wear a blindfold. It feels unreasonable because it is. Even telling you about this in the first place was gross, and then asking you to manage it for her at your own expense is even worse than that. In fact, how about she leave her man at home, since apparently he can't control himself around her friends and being creepy? Or is she the one being creepy? Either way, it's not your situation to manage.
No, I agree with that. Because, yeah, you should be managing your dude and, questioning him, like, what is his intentions? Like, are you for me or are you for the streets?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Well, we have an update.
Okay. What's the update?
She said, I responded to my friend with the following. Because remember, she initially came into Reddit saying that she didn't know if she was going to respond back with an apology or say something rude. So she wanted an outsider's opinion before she responded to her friend. Because remember, her friend confronted her after the dinner, was like, why did you look so hot? So she was about to respond back to that friend, but came to Reddit for advice first. So the update is what she decided to send her friend. She said, I responded with the following. Sorry it's taking me a while to reply, but I wanted to consider this properly and not react emotionally. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't think it's fair or reasonable to ask me to change how I look because of your husband. My advice is to speak to your man and work out your relationship, because projecting your issues onto me isn't going to help you and is only going to damage our friendship. You have nothing to be insecure about. You're the most beautiful person inside and out. I'm here for you if you want to talk this through, but ultimately, I can't help with the fact that I'm hot. Just kidding. XOXO. 5 minutes after I pressed send, she knocked on my door. She was already on her way with a bunch of flowers and cried and gave me a hug while apologizing. She told me that they were having problems and it was wrong for her to take it out on me. We had a long chat and I'm going to be there to support my friend. Thank you guys for all the input. You've helped so much.
Wow.
That's nice because the friend realized she was tripping and she was already on the way to her homegirl house to make it right.
That's what's up.
Green flag.
Yep, we ain't got that yet.
We do. They're just not in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true.
But green flag.
Yep.
So I'm happy. That's mature. Because we're not going to say like there's no bumps in the roads in friendships, right? Like friendships are relationships just like any other relationship. So sometimes you could be tripping. But she did the right thing, realized she was tripping. She came, apologized, took ownership of the fact that she was tripping. And now she has a friend to help her through the situation.
Yep.
Green flags. Good luck to you.
Yep, for sure.
Now, this next story, some of you guys are going to be a little upset.
Oh, Lord. What they talking about?
But y'all going to be all right. But I'm going to rattle your nerves a little bit.
I'm pretty sure everybody's nerves is rattled. My nerves is already rattled, so I already know they nerves rattled.
Well, if you have a cocktail, this might be the perfect time to take a sip. Ready?
Yeah, I am.
The next story is, am I the asshole for refusing to let my husband's affair baby live with us for a little while?
Ooh.
Not an affair baby.
Right.
Well, there's a lot to the story. Shall we begin?
Yep.
I married my husband very young. 3 years into our marriage, we got a divorce because he had an affair and got the mistress pregnant.
Wow.
We were split for 5 years, then decided we had changed as people and reconciled for the sake of our daughter, who we had during our marriage before we got a divorce. We also worked on ourselves with the help of counseling. We've now been remarried for 6 years. During our 5 years apart, I had another child with a serious partner who sadly passed away. So you have the child they shared together, the affair baby, and the baby she had during the 5 years they weren't together. A few days ago, we got a call from my husband's ex-mistress. She said that her job wanted her to fly out of state this weekend for an opportunity, but that it was impossible to do so with her son, and asked us if we would be willing to take him in on such a short notice. Usually, my husband gets a hotel and stays there with his son when he has visitations or when his mom flies out of town. But this time, this will be a long-term stay.
Oh, wow.
I told my husband, absolutely not. This wasn't happening. He said I was being unfair and that he cares for my daughter like it's his own. And I should do the same for his child. I screamed at him. My daughter isn't a product of an affair. Absolutely no way he's staying here. He got angry and said I was being ridiculous and a bitch because the child is innocent. In my eyes, it hurt me so much to look at that boy. Am I the asshole?
The kids always get wrapped up, because they don't choose to be on this earth. They just here because of, the guy and the wife or his affair.
Yeah.
Dang.
But we need a concrete yes or no from you. Is she the asshole?
Ooh.
And I'm not going to make it easier on you and go first.
You wild. I don't think she's an asshole.
You don't think she's an asshole?
Nah, for saying that he can't stay?
You think she's not the asshole?
Nah. She
Wow.
just being real. I mean, she ain't trying to deal with you and your affair kid, unfortunately.
Wow.
Hey, it is what it is. You got to go, if it's a long-term thing, then you got to get you a long-term, what is it, hotel. It's just, it is what it is. You put yourself in that situation, unfortunately.
I'm very shocked by your answer.
I mean, hey,
I feel the opposite.
okay, why?
First of all, she took him back after the affair. You know, that's my whole thing. By no means did she have to get back with him. Once he cheated on her and they got a divorce, well, he didn't just cheat. Once he cheated and got the lady pregnant and got a divorce, that would have been the end for me. There would be no more you. So I would never have to deal with your baby. But if I get married, because you got to remember, they got married again. That's like getting married to somebody who has a child. Regardless if the child is the affair baby or not, you ain't have to get back with this man. The marriage is not the same anymore because he now comes with a child. And if you married the man, you got to accept his children because you could have just never took him back. So I do not think it's right to remarry him, knowing he has a child and expecting for this child to not be around. If it's too painful, you should have left him where you had him, in divorce court.
I can see your point of view, and I can see why you would think that way. So, yes, I don't know. I mean, I could change my answer up a little bit because you are right. They got married after they already know that he got another child now and everything like that. So, yes, you did take him back. So now you got to take all the baggage that comes with him now because you accepted that.
I would give her a little bit more slack, just a little bit. I would give her a little bit more slack if they had never divorced. So let's say he cheated, fathered this child, and they never broke up. They just tried to work through their marriage. I could then maybe give her a little bit of room to be like, I'm not going to leave you, but you can't have that child around me, maybe. But the fact that y'all divorced, you remarried him with this child.
Right.
Is the part that I'm like, girl, I don't know about this one.
I can understand that.
You left him because of this. And now you're getting back with him and there's a child.
And you know about him now.
And you know about it.
Yep.
I think we would have had more room for your foolishness had you never left him for it and you just prepared your marriage. He was always your husband. He had this affair baby and he had that other life.
So do you think that because him usually you get in the hotel for the kid?
That's crazy. That shocked me.
Yeah. But do you think that changes things that, usually he's not at the house?
Wow, you bring up a great point.
Yes.
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, wow. That changes things. Maybe she's not the asshole.
Right.
Because he didn't foster the relationship of having his child around. When he's doing visits with the child of when mom's out of town or whenever he's being a dad, he's getting hotels.
Yes.
So he's never brought this child into the fold or into the family with his wife and other children. He's kept this child shielded away. Maybe because he feels like, yeah, I don't want to upset my wife. We've come such a long way. Whatever reason he did, you've been keeping this child away too. So he has to take responsibility for that. Because if he wanted a nice blended family situation, well, then that should have been fostered at the time they got back together. That child needed to be around. But if you're keeping this child away and they've been remarried for 6 years, let's not forget that. This ain't been 6 months. For the last 6 years, you've been going to hotels when it's time to spend time with your son. Well, what other reaction is your wife supposed to have? Because you didn't think enough to involve your child into this family. You've been keeping him away like a sin that you've been trying to hide from,
Right.
So I think that since you've created this relationship for the last 6 years, that you have your life with your wife and you have a completely separate life with your son.
Yeah.
What else she's supposed to think?
Right.
I changed my answer.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Working things out.
That's right. Yeah.
But nonetheless.
But what do y'all think?
What do you guys think?
Y'all heard us, our thoughts and stuff like that. I want to know what y'all think in the comments because that's a whirlwind.
But hear me, I definitely felt like she was the asshole at the beginning because you accepted this man back who had a child. But come to think about it, she's never had to accept this child because he's been keeping this child away for the last 6 years. This child doesn't come to the house. This child doesn't do that. He gets a hotel and spends time with the child.
Yep.
So maybe he's to blame.
Yeah.
He's switching up now. She's never had to include this child because he's never included the child.
Yeah.
That was him to bring that child into the fold. into their new marriage when they got remarried. That was his job. That's his child. He should have brought the child into the family, but he didn't.
Right.
Kept him separate. And so now 6 years later, you think your wife is just going to be like, come on in. These are the seeds you planted.
True.
So I changed my answer.
Fair enough. I can understand that.
Yeah. So maybe we do. I guess look how things change when you work through them. These are both two very imperfect people, and that's okay.
True.
That's okay.
Ain't nobody perfect.
I see her gripe a little bit more now because I was ready to crucify her.
You was.
I was ready. Wow. Well, thank you for giving me that perspective.
No problem.
Now let's see what the people have to say.
Oh yeah.
Someone said, I wouldn't want to deal with his kid either, but I also wouldn't have remarried him after the affair. So that's that. You're the asshole.
Straight like that.
Straight like that. So that was kind of like my position. Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with you and your affair, baby. That's why we got a divorce in the first place.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be able to come back over here. But I guess that means it's just true love. If you're soulmates, you'll find your way back to one another.
It's true.
This just sucks that your soulmate went and dipped his soul in somebody else's pond.
I dipped your soul. True though. Dang.
This is why you keep your body parts inside your home.
Yeah, true. What you doing out there?
Right? Causing all this trouble.
Right.
Someone said, you're the asshole. I don't think you understand what the meaning of forgiveness is, which you are not obligated to forgive him in the first place, but you chose to remarry him and continue a life with him. His life includes a son regardless of how the son came to be. I went ahead and grabbed the definition of forgiveness for you. It's a verb.
What?
And it means stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. If you haven't forgiven him, then you should go ahead and remove yourself from this marriage.
See, I don't think they're looking at the little facts though. You know what I'm saying? He was keeping his son away at the hotel, and now it's true. I don't know.
So I can't come down on them because these were my sentiments until you brought up that point, which is a very big point. We can't just skirt past the fact that they've been remarried for 6 years and this child is not around.
Yeah.
But I think they're both wrong. Can they both be wrong?
They can be.
Because she did remarry him, which means she should have forgiven this whole situation.
Right.
But he shouldn't have kept his child away.
It's a lot of factors there.
Yeah. Someone else said, wow, you've won asshole of the year.
Wow.
I'm rarely at a loss for words. Your poor stepson. Your husband is also the asshole for allowing this situation to occur in the first place. If you accepted him after your infidelity, then you have accepted his child and the baby mama as a package deal. Could you imagine if this was one of your children in this position? The child did not betray you. Your husband did.
True.
Yeah. I think they're both wrong. That's my final thoughts on this situation. Is she the asshole? Yes. Is he an asshole? Yes.
I can agree.
Because they just should have never got back together if they weren't able to
figure that out first, and she should be comfortable with the new kid or whatever situation occurs, and that probably should have just been that. So if he had to stay in, go ahead.
And he said, I love and accept your child. Remember, she had a child when they were broken up for those 5 years. And remember, she screamed at him and was like, but my child is not a product of an affair.
Right.
But guess what? She also ain't hiding that child. That child lives right in the home.
Right.
With no shame. You're ashamed. He's ashamed about that child. That's why he keeps that child away. He knows that this child is different from the others. And so since he feels that way about his child, he acts accordingly by having a completely separate life with this child. Because if he was like, well, I don't care, this is still my son and he gonna be around, and if he forced that relationship, that's what it would have to be. She would have had to accept that when they started dating again before they got remarried, because there had to be a point where during those 5 years they weren't together. She was with a whole nother man who died. Yep. Right? So at some point they had to rekindle. That baby should have been around.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been in the shadows for 6 years. So what else is she supposed to feel?
Right.
They both wrong. She didn't fully forgive him, obviously. And he has been hiding this child.
Right.
So how can he expect her to feel anything else?
Oh, yeah. I'm on the same page. I feel you.
Both the assholes.
Yup. Y'all are.
Yeah. That was our last story for the day.
Crazy.
So you know how we got to do every episode. We got to figure out which one was your worst story.
The worst story?
Let's do a quick refresher. Is it my
Okay.
boyfriend's dad keeps hitting on me?
Mm.
Am I the asshole for kicking my wife out after she punched my mom in the face?
Mm-hmm.
Am I the asshole for continuing to wear makeup and dress in my normal style after my friend told me she thinks her husband has a crush on me?
That was crazy.
And then the last story. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my husband's affair baby live with us for a while? What's your worst?
It might be the creepy dad talking about that was story 1.
Yeah. The creepy dad's the worst story for you?
I think so. I mean, I just think that the dad is just a big creep. I mean, I could say that, story 2, talking about the wife punching the mother-in-law, but I think the dad just being a creep and then the boyfriend not really sticking up for her like that. I think that was the worst for me.
It's not the worst for me because at the
Okay.
end of the day, this is her boyfriend, not her husband.
That's true.
And I'm glad that she was able to see that he's an asshole now, so she doesn't end up, if she's smart, she don't end up making this man her husband. Even though it's very creepy, this is just her boyfriend. She can easily get out and run.
I understand that. I think I guess the creepiness is just like the bigger part for me.
Okay.
Yeah, because what the heck? What are you talking about? You comparing your this
son's girlfriend.
Yeah, your son's girlfriend to your wife and talking about, hey, you want to go shower with me? That's just beyond crazy. So that's why I think that story is crazy.
Well, for me, it's story number 2.
Okay.
About him kicking his wife out.
I can see that.
That to me, that's my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 would then probably be this one with the baby, this affair baby.
The affair baby.
And then the girlfriend and boyfriend, the dad hitting on her, and then the friend that husband is fantasizing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's number 4.
That's number 4.
Oh, wow.
That was it ended with green flags. The friends, worked it out.
Mm-hmm.
They had a happy ending. So that's my 4. But my number 1 is this man kicking his wife out and newborn baby.
Well,
it got so far where she done punched this lady in the face. That's my number 1.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'm just looking at the creep radar.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But is this a creep episode?
No, I mean, you right.
Yeah.
But yeah, kicking your wife out, kicking your wife and your newborn.
That's my number 1.
That's a little hectic.
What's your number 1 through 4? Please give us your thoughts on what you thought was the absolute worst story and which one was easier for you to stomach.
Oh, yeah.
We love reading your thoughts in the comment section, so please share. And then join us over on Patreon if you really want to have a good time. Because we get to be unfiltered over there. We get to read all kind of way crazier stories over there.
And if you ain't subscribed to our channel, subscribe. Drop us a like. That's free to do. And
for all our Patreon followers and subscribers, tell us what you thought about that necrophilia story.
Oh, yeah. You got to be on the inside for that one.
Yeah, that one was pretty crazy. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and hope you stick around and come back and hang out with us next time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Bye, guys.